Hi and welcome to another tutorial. Today we're going to have a look at leads and how to make a pad from your lead and then how to mix the lead. So sometimes in a remix pack you will not get your leads, you'll not get certain elements, so a lot of the time you'll just get the synth, the main melody, and we can easily find out the bass by just looking at the bottom notes. So this will be your bass progression: E, B, F sharp, and then A for Adam. So we can just literally go down to the bass and copy them notes. Nice and easy. But then you're left with the pad. So there's different ways of doing this. Ideally, you could just play it on your piano and and record it in, but not many people can do that, unfortunately. I know a couple of people can do it. I certainly cannot. So I've just got a nice, easy way of doing it. So let's put the pads down. We don't need these top notes because they're just repeaters. So once we've done the bottom notes, we can just move them up. So there you go. Pull them along. Now you just have to drop them up, put them up an octave. E to E. There you go. Oh, sugar. Right, now it gets a little bit more complicated. They look like they're the same octave again. E and E. That's really weird. They're all E. So this might sound a bit strange actually, but we'll see. Get rid of these notes because it makes it confusing. Remember, they're actually just the same, so you don't need to panic. Oh my god, where have my notes gone? To be honest with you, I would actually just leave it like this anyway. I don't think that you need to have 4 sections. Just overcomplicates it. So this is where people get confused at how to do your pads. So I'm just going to show you a nice way, and it's fairly simple if you use a little bit of common sense. So we're going to pull this note to there. We're going to pull that back to there. And then we're going to pull that to there. Now it might be a case that doesn't really change fast enough with the pads, so with the lead. It depends on what synth you're using, the release time, etc. So it might be that we have to do it more like this, maybe even that. So we'll see, but we'll keep it as it was for now. So all we're doing literally is copying the melody and using a little bit of change. Well, no, we're not. I don't. What did I just say? That makes no sense. Ignore me. We're using a bit of change. What the fuck am I on about? It's the first time I've done a tutorial in a while. I apologise. I'm just recording for one of my amazing clients, Rod, and just kind of giving him a refresh on how to do pads. So there you go. Let's have a listen to how this sounds on its own, and then I'll show you how to choose a pad and mix it in, and the first kind of pad you want to be choosing. Now we've got the bass, really nice. Let's put a pad in. I love Spire for pads, I'm not going to lie, it's my favourite. And I love these iron banks. E-Motion pad 7 is amazing too. Let's go with that. We want to make sure pads generally want to be between octave 3 and 4. This is quite low, so let's put it up 1. As suspected, the pads aren't moving fast enough, so these notes just aren't really working. Now we can change the release time. See, it's just not. These pads are absolutely amazing. However, they're really good for atmosphere, and they're going to fit super nice in layers. But for now, we need something a bit more steady and secure. So we're going to use an iron pack. Go to pads. There's not many pads, but they're really good. There you go. So we've actually put in a really nice pad, and you did see that I had to change the octave actually, because sometimes it just doesn't work in the octave I say it does. So don't be afraid to change it and try. Big gulp of my tea there. Apologies if that's coming through the mic. So yeah, that's just a super simple way of doing your pads, and you'll see that I actually change the notes back. Why? Because on this particular sound, the release is shorter, it's less of an atmospheric kind of pad, therefore it actually does play the changes fairly well. So we've got our drone. We've got a lovely pad, so listen to the lead now. For some reason, this lead is clipping like fuck. No idea why. But one of my clients mentioned this earlier, that he was having an issue with a sound clipping. And sometimes it just happens. Don't panic. Just put a limiter on there at +2, and it should fix it. Brilliant. So let's just do a bit of a breakdown. And I'm just going to show you how to build a breakdown and then go to the crescendo and how to mix it all properly. So this is going to be our crescendo, the hands in the air moment. So don't worry about anything for now. The main thing that we know for now is that we've got the bass sounding great, we've got the pads sounding great, and we've got the leads sounding great. Couple of things to note. The leads were peaking. They was going into the red. I have no idea why. Some sounds just do it, particularly Spire. If that happens, don't panic. Just simply put a limiter on there. That's what a limiter's for. Think of a limiter as I always describe it to my clients as you've got a tin of paint and you're walking around town or whatever, and you know the paint's flipping going everywhere, and you know you just need to put a lid on it to stop the paint from falling out. I know that's a silly analogy, but it really does work if you visualize that. You know, you're walking, you've got paint in a tin, obviously you're swinging your arm about, paint's going everywhere. Think of the paint as your audio, and by simply putting a lid on it, it controls it. It's literally that. It's that simple. For years, I obsessed over limiters, and I just didn't understand, and I thought I need to go and buy a £2,000 hardware limiter to get my sound perfect, and in reality, that's all a fucking limiter does. Keeps the lid on things. So that's one thing to note. Second thing to note, the bass is ES2. I'm more than happy to share this because there's nothing worse than watching a tutorial and you've got three or four things, and then the main section, the person that's doing the tutorial doesn't show you. So you can recreate it. Like, I remember doing it with some producers like Sean Tyson and Activa, and it's nothing against them. I applaud them for doing lessons, but there's a couple of elements in there they never showed, so I was never able to recreate that. And I want you guys to be able to recreate this. So here is the ES2 drone. If you're watching this and you would like this drone, I'm happy to send it. Just drop me an email, tutorials@adamellisdj.com. We've got obviously Spire for the pad, Spire for the lead. So yeah, let's kind of have a listen how it sounds, and then we'll do the automation. Oh, we'll do the automation now, sorry. We want to start off nice and low. Now what we need to do is we need to find our loudest point of a cutoff. So this is super important. How high do we want the cutoff? So 800 is nice. Anything above 800 and it becomes a bit hissy. Okay, perfect. So now let's go to our leads and do the same thing. We always want to mix at its loudest point. So same thing for our leads. An easy way to do it actually is just go to Spire. That way it's already set, so it makes much more sense to do it like that. So then you can just go like this. Little tip for Logic, I use something called a double node system. And all a double node system is this. You click one, when you click another. So you pull, as you pull that down, double node. As you pull that down, it doesn't affect anything that goes after it. So that's really useful if you're using Logic, because often if you don't do that, it's going to be like that. So when you go to your next section, you're going to have to manually put it back up again. So by using a double node system, you've got a continuous and consistent line of automation. So a really useful tip for you. Okay, bass drone now. And honestly, it's this simple. Making music when you know how is very simple. It's just it takes you years and years and years of understanding of how to do it. And 13 years for me. I really like that. I like to use automation curves. So now we've done that, we can now mix. Now you're going to think, well, how on earth do we mix? I've got no clue where to start. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, this is so simple. We know that we've now chosen the loudest point of the bass. We use a cutoff to determine that. So all we need to do now, we're going to set the bass so it goes no louder than -14. Now this is going to make the track a lot quieter. And I'm going to have to turn the speakers up, which is annoying, but unfortunately you have to make music super quiet. So we'll go with -13. We'll stick to -12 because it's just fair. Now the caveat to all this is that actually you want your bass drone 2 decibels quieter than your main bass. Now the way we determine the bass is by mixing the bass to the kick. And the general rule of thumb when making music for me and my clients and Mark Sherry and a couple of others is that you put a kick so it peaks at -8. And then you simply mix a sub bass around the kick using your ears. And then say that the sub bass is -10. And it might change depending on what key you're using, how you EQ it, are you using distortion, etc. We'll say it's -10, then boom, we set our sub drone 2 decibels quieter and it's -12. Now you might be asking, why do you set it 2 decibels quieter? Good question. The reason being that in a breakdown, we want things a little bit quieter. So when it kicks back in, it gets a bit of a bump in power. Really simple. So we now know that we've set our bass drone to -12. And it's this simple now. All we have to do is mix our pad and our leads using our ears to the bass. We now have a fully automated track, mixed, engineered, and ready to now go to the next section, which would be layering, where we want to layer 3 or 4 different pads, 3 or 4 different leads to really build up one big powerful section. I'll do that in another video, but I just wanted to show you guys a quick way of working. Let's have a listen. There you go. So that is how you make a pad, mix your lead, do your bass, and set up all your levels for the future. Now, if you do this and get it all set up and follow this way of working, and then you go to do your kick and your bass, as long as you put your kick at -8 and mix your sub to the kick, by the time you get to the breakdown, the levels will be even and accurate. Have you ever got to the breakdown and you just haven't got a clue where to start? And then you're going back and forth and you'll do the breakdown and then it's too loud and then the drop's too quiet, or vice versa, etc. This is just how it works, you know. So I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. For any info on one-to-one lessons, any questions, etc., give me a shout. Tutorials@animalistdj.com. Thank you for your time.